really well. It's just that Tempo came out on top in that game. But we've got so many more games to go and so many more potential battlegrounds that can be chosen. Let's see where we're going for Game 2. Team Freedom has chosen to have first pick, Tempo Storm, picks Volskaya Foundry. It was a ban for them in their first series. They picked it versus Team 12. It was a 30-minute game. And we're going back, Jay. How are you ready?
I mean, I wasn't warned about this ahead of time. I guess it's time to get ready. I mean, their game against Heroes Hearth was 34.5 minutes. And then the second time I played it was 30 minutes. Maybe they're just like, look, we have something in mind. We're just going to shave another 4 minutes off of it. Give us a 26-minute game this time.
Yeah, no problem.
Natural progression. Volskaya is an interesting map, though. I mean, we've seen some different strategies. We actually saw some success with the Protector to make sure and get the wave clear and some early value. But it seems like with the length of the lanes and the death timers, I think that's where teams tend to fall short. And the different escape mechanics, the way the drafts are made around this map, we see teams be able to get away. So by the time you rotate down, the death timers aren't enough. And so I think it's just the depth of this battleground is making it difficult for people to just kind of get on to the core. Tempo's first attempt at this also had
no siege.
No siege at all. So
yeah.
they're obviously going to refine a few things, and hopefully we can see a better performance or at least a shorter game here from one of these teams, whoever claims victor.
This was also one of the two battlegrounds where Tempo Storm were behind Team 12. They were the ones to lose a keep to Team 12 first. They had that insane flank with Ragnaros up in the top. Like, did not believe. I did not believe. They made it work, and they were able to save the game because of it. But I was very scared for Glaurung because it was just, you're right, the depth of the lane. He had to go all the way around. He was very separated from the rest of his team when he did that. And then that's also where high priority for Hanzo for Tempo Storm. They had the Dragon's Arrow and the Sulphurous Smash to get picks on people who were out in the lane by themselves. We haven't seen Team Freedom on this map yet, so I'm very excited to see what they can do on it.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of teams experiment with Zeratul on this. So that's the other part, is that does Zeratul show up in this draft? And for very good reason. I believe Zeratul was against them when Glaurung was on Ragnaros. So Goku, I believe, was on that game trying to make plays. But either way, multiple teams have experimented with Zeratul on this battleground. See if it shows up here. I think one of these teams more than capable of wanting to play that.
I do believe you're thinking of Glaurung.
A little bit, maybe some Nazmus.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right. Game 2. This best of 5 series between Team Freedom and Tempo Storm. Tempo Storm up 1 game after getting a win on Sky Temple. Oh yeah, you're right. I wanted to put my sweater on and I can't. I was getting comfortable. It's Sunday evening here at the HGC. ETC ban, NG2, Hanzo pick up by Team Freedom.
Hanzo, no surprise there. Lutano making the plays. I mean, any other hero other than Malthel there would have worked out really well, but he can cheat death at level 20, came back instantly. Just was not able to get that second kill onto him, but Hanzo picked up here. No cattle for Caterpillar. We saw the double support last game, but the double melee assassin as well. Ragnaros, does it have higher priority than maybe a Zeratul right now for Glaurung on Volskaya?
I don't know if Glau will get his hero in this one too. He ended up getting it last game because it was Malthel and because they were first pick, but I think there's too many things that they feel like they need. They have Muradin. Feels like if they would want, oh, they're gonna get Muradin Lucio. Okay.
Hiding potential strategies.
Yeah.
You know, Lucio, obviously the highest win rate support that we have currently here in North America and probably across other regions outside of Uther in Korea, which is dominating, by the way.
Yes.
Like,
he is
absolutely
everywhere.
Dominating. So Lucio, though, is kind of our flavor in terms of how we want to go.
Tassadar is still up. If Team Freedom want to do the Tass Hanzo thing. What else from that? ETC is banned.
By the way, it's 18 out of 23 games last time I updated my career drafts, which was last night. I don't think I have this morning's. But going into today, 18 out of 23 games won.
I'm pretty sure this morning still continued with that.
Probably so.
I looked at the drafts. There's a lot of Uther being played. Yeah, I see them trying to get maybe their warrior here so they don't get too locked from that. No, they'll get tasked to go with Hanzo. And then their Karazim. Seems to be Collusion's favorite support as of right now.
After Lucio. He gets Lucio banned out against him quite a bit or gets picked up. A lot of times they'll prioritize it. I think he probably would tell you that he likes Lucio a little bit more than Karazim as well.
But he's 3-0 with Karazim.
You know.
2-1 with Lucio.
Must have been an accident.
We'll chalk it up to that.
Mistakes happen.
Yeah.
But either way, the Tassadar pairing with Hanzo, gonna probably go on the Redemption build, of course, to get as much as you can out of those Tassadar shields.
Are they gonna ban Diablo? We have seen so much Dragon's Arrow into APOC and then the Diablo Force Wall. Charge into Force Wall. Nope.
Yep, they're banning Malthael. So Zeratul comes to mind, but Zeratul, as we've seen into a Hanzo Tassadar, has not exactly netted a lot of very high results.
A lot of vision control, though. Did Team 12 play that? I don't think so. I don't think it was TAS Hanzo. It was Hanzo, but I don't think it was TAS Hanzo, where they won on Dragonshire. Do you remember?
It was TAS Hanzo Zeratul, I believe.
Oh, they had the TAS Hanzo. Yeah.
Tempo did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. There's just way too much vision and reveal between Hanzo and TAS.
I got nothing for this one.
What?
Just gonna close all notes and move forward.
They already have Karazim.
Well, I actually don't. I am 100% okay picking Cho'gall into Karazim. So here's where things lie for me.
Okay.
So Cho'gall, obviously a very unique hero. Single point objective is kind of the name of the game here on Volskaya. Gives you that control. He has infinite poke, infinite sustain. Lucio, infinite sustain in terms of like, very rarely does he ever have mana issues. Tassadar tickles you a lot with the Psystorm. The only thing that you really have the redeeming part is the Hanzo armor reduction.
Yes.
But you also have the potential armor if you're on the side of Cho'gall. It's part of the trait. You exchange your trait between. It's two heroes in one. There's also something to be said because his level 1, Calloused Hide, I haven't seen it picked because it's a very, I think it'd be a little bit ambitious. But with a pairing like this, when it comes to that, because you amplify healing, essentially, you get bonus healing off of that. So with Lucio there, and then the percent healing at level 16 with a Muradin Lucio, I wouldn't be surprised if I just get an Abathur and everything goes crazy here.
Yeah, Muradin also can sustain himself thanks to his trait. Ragnaros has percent damage at level 16. Anubarak has Cocoon. That's not exactly the most fun for Cho'gall to deal with, but Lucio can help deal with that. Or you've got the Cocoon for the Lucio if they feel like they're going to bring down Cho'gall. Karazim can 7-sided strike as a way of getting that percent damage. And Hanzo not only has sharpened arrowheads for the armor reduction, he can get Giant Slayer, yes, at 16, and have some percent damage too. But is it enough? That is the question. Maybe we see Ragnaros Lava Wave as a potential way of trying to counter-push other waves. Cho'gall just throws everything into question.
Time to just grab Zagar to make sure you don't leave out on that clear. But, you know, the thing about it is that Cocoon is there. Junkrat will be there for the clear. But Anubarak has a couple of options in terms of how he wants to approach this. A lot of people, you'll see Cho'gall get Cocoon. That essentially the Cocoon gets double the value because that's technically two heroes in one. And all of a sudden you can turn a 5v5 into a 5v3. Alternatively, you could use it on Lucio, who gives you the sound barrier, and just have a 5v4 minus the support. But a lot of times you'll see people use it on Cho'gall. The other thing is, with Anubarak, another reason why Anubarak works so well is because of the built-in spell armor. The most damage that will come out of this game will be from Gall, who is all ability damage. So as that goes out, that plays more into why Anubarak is one of the most highly prioritized tanks against Cho'gall. But it's still Cho'gall, and I did not expect this.
I saw it. Then a scrim. Still didn't expect it either.
Cheater.
I will be honest.
Look.
I thought maybe we were having a little bit of fun, but now I see we're truly getting the Cho'gall. And ladies and gentlemen, the last time that we had a Cho'gall in NA HGC, it did not go well for the Cho'gall team. So let's see if Tempo Storm can do better. It was a year ago that we had that Cho'gall game, so I'd say it's just about time for another.
The SS
Hosty.
Still remember that, Braxis? Hold on.
That is, I know that we talked about it. That was my favorite game from HGC last year. That and the Goku Ragnaros. Whoop, not bad. So here's what we've got.
Did we get
We've got the TS.
We did it!
We've got the T-Sprung.
T-Sprung.
T-Sprung!
Okay, so we actually got Calloused Hide. I always, I guess, hypothesized on would this be an effective way to play Cho'gall. It requires Cho to have the trait, not Gall. By going that, you get the bonus healing. And because Lucio doesn't really have that max heal, I mean, his normal tick obviously is very low, but when he amps it up, it's much different. And so if you call that out, like, hey, I need to switch over to this, because baseline Lucio heals, not enough. However, if you are like, all right, we've got to amp it up, you switch over to the trait for Cho, and then you get that bonus healing. And look for that to be a key component around these team fights. And I think that'll be the biggest part that I'm looking forward to. Getting the Calloused Hide, it feels nice to finally see it once. And I think if there's a team that's going to pull it off, Tempo and their communication will be it.
I'm really excited to see how this works out for Tempo Storm. I asked what was left. What strategies did they keep? Because they were very focused on being able to win Team 12, but they had a rough weekend to play versus Team 12 and Team Freedom, and they have proven they've still got a little something left.
A little something. One of my favorite questing talents in the game is the level 4 questing talent for Cho'gall. Mostly Gall, because as you hit those rune bombs, when they explode on a hero, it increases the damage. It is an infinite stacking quest. Although after you get the baseline part of it done, you get the extra range and the extra speed, thus making it easier to stack up beyond that point for even more damage. I'd be a little disappointed if they don't pick it, so I'll wait to talk about it until it shows up.
All right. We'll see if that's very soon. Team Freedom and company are working on getting a turret for the fight over the control point in mid. That'll be happening fairly soon. I really do think that we'll see Team Freedom try to utilize the lava wave. Do you see?
We didn't go it. But lava wave, go on.
Yeah, lava wave as a way of trying to. The deal is you have one less body. You have only 4 bodies. This is a fairly large battleground. It takes a while to get rotations in. And with the wave clear that this team has, Team Freedom, with the Tassadar especially, and the Ragnaros, they can try to push those lanes in. So I'm wondering if maybe they can use Lava Wave to force Tempo Storm to miss out on some experience. The Junkrat's going to help a lot with that. That's going to be his job, to make those rotations around and keep up with that. But I wonder if Team Freedom will go with that approach.
So just for a little bit of record, obviously in the open division, we had imported support and teams run Cho'gall, most notably on Infernal Shrines and Tomb of the Spider Queen. This is before Volskaya was in. And it was something that they would run, and they would always run that. And we actually had, there's actually a group that has run Cho'gall so much that it actually gets, if they get grouped up by circumstance in Hero League, it'll actually get banned from them up at the Master Grandmaster level. So there are Cho'gall players out there that can master. Obviously, they're not in this game. So we'll see what T-Sprung can do.
I just want to point out, that skin is hideous.
You mean amazing?
It is. It is something.
the color
Oh.
a little weird. The double-headed pumpkin.
Pumpkin heads. It's getting to me. I can look at nothing else. Oh, we've got the fight over the control point going. Tempo Storm almost to level 7. Team Freedom have that ahead of Tempo Storm just barely, and it is sharpened arrowheads.
Makes sense. And just for record, so everybody wondering what that level 4 talent it is Runic Persistence. Whenever Runic Blast deals out, which is when that rune bomb goes out, you deal bonus damage over 3 seconds in the area where it's exploded. So you can control a point getting that damage. force it onto there as Nasmus is being forced back by Cho'gall there.
Yeah, that is one of the big benefits of of having a Cho'gall is you can siege endlessly because you are not bound by mana restrictions. Now T-Sprung starting to head down to the mid. They've got the rollback to combo off of that Runic Persistence so that they can have Rune Bomb out for longer. I'm expecting to see the silencing on the Runic Blast. Can't remember if that's 13 or 16. Yeah, 16.
Well, yeah, 16 for sure.
So
it's
strong.
It is major, major impact. I mean, getting silenced, that's why I'm a little, like, because when you finish the quest on the level 4, you get faster and farther Rune Bombs, and it makes it easier to land those at 16. So without that, maybe we do see something different.
I wonder, does that make the silence bigger with that level 4? If it's the additional damage over time?
I think just because that's
Different damage?
it's just a detonation.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, Team Freedom has started to eke ahead in experience as they attempt to take that Triglav Protector to the top lane. Just playing pretty safely until they can work their way up to getting heroic abilities, and working on these structures should give that to them.
Yeah, as you had mentioned, it makes it Cattle eating a lot of damage there. It makes it easier. When Cho'gall was top lane, Team Freedom took the rest of their team, had a man advantage, invaded, took that camp at the bottom right, and by having that numbers advantage makes it that much easier. And this is another time where they have the numbers advantage. Cho'gall in another lane trying to get sieging damage done. Thus, the Triglav Protector getting quite a bit accomplished here.
No Lava Wave, it'll be Sulfurous Smash, but we do get a 7-sided strike. It's a way of trying to bring down that very beefy health bar of the T-Sprung. Triglav Protector takes out the top fort, the slows. Oh, great. Was that the shove?
Yeah, and when you got Taskmaster, it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that would have been the shove. Seemed a little bit quick there. I mean, that's the thing. So Gall has an ability. If you're not as familiar with Cho'gall, Gall has an ability. It's like basically his version of the mount part. It's just a shove. It forces Cho, the body that you're not in control of, in a general direction, and you can make plays like that to work together.
Gets him out of the Sulfurous Smash, though he did take a lot of damage, and using the Archon to slow him down and try to put him in the position of that Sulfurous Smash is a cool combo to see from Team Freedom. Tempo Storm is behind in the structures thanks to that structural push with the Triglav Protector. And about a full level as Team Freedom are trying to get aggressive, trying to make sure that they can keep Tempo Storm back.
Keeping him back for now. You know, Cho obviously going the big hammer, and then we have Twisting Nether for Gall, which is the AoE silence. And as these fights rage on, I really wonder if we're going to see some cool plays made. You've got the Rip Tire, maybe knock somebody back in to that Twisting Nether, really maximize the potential of that. Instead, Team Freedom, again, having that body advantage, having that threat. They're pushing in the structures, and they're doing it pretty well right now, Gilda.
Yeah, they're doing an awesome job of this. They use Ragnaros to just slow things down for the Cho'gall. I don't think he's even been forced to use Molten Core as a way of stopping it. It's just by the time that T-Sprung pushes in the towers and the waves, Team Freedom sieges so fast down another fort, and they're just one by one taking these pieces away from Tempo Storm and getting quite an advantage from it. I mean, you look at the kill count, and it's sort of like Sky Temple. Even more so. We had the first kill on Sky Temple at 10. Now we're looking at even longer before we're getting kills.
The fact that you just so casually and matter-of-factly just refer to it as T-Sprung.
That is who it is. It's no longer Cho'gall, it's T-Sprung.
It's just straight up T-Sprung.
The T-Sprung.
Well, another advantage for Team Freedom as they push in here without any protector at all. They still have the Helium Pulse as well. They've got turrets. They're just pushing down lanes, and every time that gives them the structure advantage and more experience as it's now stretched out to a level and a half lead. There's a possibility that we might just see Team Freedom ignore one of the early parts here, because you have to commit one of your key components, whether it's a Junkrat, who's your main damage dealer, whether it's a Murden, who's that off tank, and maybe just 5-man push another lane. They have that availability as Team Freedom. Tempo Storm's going to have to find a way to pick a fight. They're not 13 yet, so they're going to play cautious for now. but I think they're on the cusp of trying to force the issue.
Don't forget, if Tempo Storm want to get aggressive over this control point and Team Freedom don't want to push somewhere else because they've pretty much already gotten all the forts down, they could just as easily force a fight, sneak Nasmus around, go into the Molten Core since they took that fort, and then in that way, there's nowhere for Tempo Storm to try to retreat. They have to go down. They could be chased down. They've got the Dragon's Arrow to slow that retreat. There is, it's kind of rough going for Tempo Storm and where they try to take the fight now. And you've got Anubarak holding on to the top. He's already charged that up to 30%. And with the final few abilities, Team Freedom also will take down that fort, and that just opens up more options for a way for them to win the game, but also for them to make a play with Ragnaros.
You had mentioned the fact that we have the silence at 16. Cho'gall really spikes up at 13 and 16 just because of those bomb talents, most notably that silence can really turn a team fight. So as this game goes on, Tempo Storm's chances go up. Cho'gall is a late game hero, and so that is something that it seems Tempo Storm is okay with. They're very familiar with the late game on Volskaya.
That they are. They did lose the first keep to Team 12 on Friday and still refused to die and came back and won that game. Runic Feedback gives a cooldown to the Rune Bomb. So if silence is the way to go. Yeah.
Anything hit. That's if it hits the minions, you get the cooldown on it. So I love me some Cho'gall, Gilly. I don't know if you can tell, but I love me some Cho'gall.
Oh.
I don't think it's always pretty, but
I can tell. No Giant Slayer, but Flawless Technique will still give that bonus damage for the Storm Bow and the auto attacks back and forth for Lutano's Hanzo. At 16, the Molten Core, the Triglav Protector. Team Freedom are looking for a keep.
This would be a huge win if they can take down this keep early. It's already taken a bit of damage. The Triglav Protector, however, sitting 67% currently. They'll try and siege up. They have a camp and minions moving in. So this right here is a potential keep within 11.5 minutes, and this gives you a substantial amount of control over this game. They have 16. It's at half health. They still have 25 seconds, which means they'll have time for another minion wave and a small push with the Protector to try and finish this off.
Yeah, another rocket Fist allows him to charge in there too without taking the damage. So Furious Smash just as Counter went to Avatar to make sure he could stay alive from that, but that gives time for the Triglav Protector to charge on in and take out the keep. And remember, the next control point's going to be in the bottom, completely opposite for this. But with Ripper Air, there's a lot of mobility available now for Junkrat to try to clear that out and get down to where he needs to be for the fight.
That's such an important keep to take down. 11.5 minutes in gives them the control for a long period of this game. As you mentioned, the next one will be at the bottom. The one after that, if we make it to that, will be in the middle. So that top lane will always be at a point of contention. And without that extra body there, you've got to commit something there and you're going to give it up. And Team Freedom so far has capitalized on every opportunity. Despite there being 0 kills, Tempo Storm just has not had the opportunity because Team Freedom has given themselves a lead at level 9 going into level 8. They've shown an effective way of using the Triglav Protectors. They've cleared out all of these structures off 2 objectives alone. A very good job so far.
Yeah, this is where the fight needs to come in, though that Impale is going to stop a lot of that. Cho'gall charging up. 16's here, Deafening Blast. There's the silence from the Runic Blast.
Then you get the Unstoppable. Oh, it didn't go Unstoppable. Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, so that gives Cho his own little self-cleanse. You can wind it up. Use that Q there. Help him out a little bit in these team fights. Collusion going in, way of 100 fists. Just every time you Q, just throw out those Fists of Fury. It's a fun one.
It's go time. The time is up. The time is now. Actual go time for Tempo Storm. Before that bottom control point is a problem. They're going to work on getting the heal surge. Make sure that the catapults are cleared out.
Well, they've got themselves the healing pulse now. Make it a little bit easier to engage. They have the sound barrier. They have the Calloused Hide, which they haven't been able to use just yet. But they're also, Team Freedom is opening up this bottom lane, controlling again, knowing that Tempo Storm continues to try and be elsewhere on the map, but the stun's gonna land. There's the silence, the Deafening Blast, finally coming into effect, Gilly.
That's perfect, and with the hammer back in, as well as the Twisting Nether. Looks like Lutano is not long for this world. Hanzo goes down 2, you got the Riptire out. They're gonna see if it can catch it up to the rest of Team Freedom, knock them out of the mounts. They do not get that.
So, Collusion had an opportunity, if he wasn't silenced, to use a 7-sided strike defensively, bought himself another time, then found himself a Q target. But there is the power of Cho'gall, post 13, post 16. And now, you mentioned it earlier, the sieging potential of a Cho'gall is just almost second to none. They ripped through that fort. There's still several members down on Team Freedom, and they are just opening this up and turning this game around off that one team fight.
Yeah, speeding through this bottom lane. Fan might be in danger here. Gets the mine down in time to throw himself back. He is safe. Team Freedom is still going to push this top lane. Do more go back. Nasmus is here. He will slow things down immensely with his Molten Core.
A bit surprised they're using Molten Core here. They don't really have a whole lot else to follow up. Plus, if they give up the Protector.
Well, they're close to 20, so maybe the thought is if they're just stalling out to 20, they don't lose a keep this way. They don't even lose any keep damage. Then they can just get to 20. Uh-oh.
Deafening Blast? No. Not able to land in time, but the Unstoppable's there. Let's see if they can find themselves a kill. They are not able to. Lucio's in there. Team Freedom, I would love to see them back out of this. They're so close to 20.
Yeah.
I mean, they have numbers. They have catapults and a camp on the core, but it's way too early for that to be incredibly effective. I'll take that back. Okay, they've changed priority targets.
Double assault camp starts to chunk through there. A Tempo Storm has one more hurdle to get through before they can keep on the pressure that we started to see them give to Team Freedom, and that is getting level 20. Anything we should be keeping our eye out for Cho'gall at 20?
You know, there's a couple of options I think that we will potentially see. I'm going to just wait till we get there. I've got my eyes on Kerazim. There's one way to deal with a high health pool.
Aggression. No more 7-sided strike. We're looking at 11-sided strike.
Might as well. They've got the sieging capabilities here, but I don't think this is one where you want to siege up. The fact that Cho'gall showed they might have had an opportunity. We've got Psionic Echo, which gives you some good siege, but I think they're going to play it safe. Hold on to the Triglav Protector. I think it might be a little bit too early to end, especially against this style of composition. I want to see Zugrug dismount here. Make sure that they can't contest, because it does send it to overtime. But if they make a play on a second keep, that would be the main part. 10% away. They're trying to make their way in. The Unstoppable will make sure he can't get. They're willing to get there, but they don't get there in time. Credit to Zugrug for the dismount.
Twisting Nether now has the teleport with it at level 20.
The Protector's here. The keep is exposed, Gilly. I feel like this should be a keep, but Cho'gall is doing an excellent job of ripping through this health bar.
Yeah, putting him into position with all of the rune bombs and for the Dread Orbs. With that Twilight Nova, it does a lot. Now Molten Cores come out to help with the siege, soften up the keep even more, and force back Tempo Storm out of all of that damage. As much as they can get away from it, they're going to go in. The Triglav Protector tanking so much of the damage between the keep and all of Tempo Storm, but with the Molten Core, it's not a lie. Here comes the Twisting Nether in the back line. Hammer throws back in. Junkrat goes down, but so will a Nubarak.
Nubarak goes down. They've got the stun onto Tassadar, who does have one-dimensional shift available. Nazma's out of the Molten Core, looking for a fight, but Lutano just misses. But there's the Deafening Blast one more time. Lutano trying to go play the game.
But it knocks you back. You teleport back. He went right back into Tempo Storm. The second kill hits Hanzo. Tempo Storm have lost their Junkrat, but they're seeing if they can get any more kills. 7-sided strike drops down, and it's 11 with the sound barrier to help get through that damage.
Gilly, if they die here, this could be game with Cho'gall on the core.
They could.
That keep is so low already.
Silence.
It's
the stun.
They're getting everybody. Collusion has to be able to dash out of here. He keeps going down. Cho'gall on top of it. That's Kerazim down, and they've got their eyes focused on the bottom keep. This is keep minimum. A Nubarak is going to be back. Hanzo's still 30 seconds away. They need to take this keep. I'm wondering if they're going to risk sieging up with a Cho'gall. It's one of the best sieging tools in the game. Right now, they're holding. I think it's keep and out, but they're posturing towards the core.
There is a cocoon available for Nubarak as he comes out of the spawn point. Hanzo will be back in 10 seconds to help with the damage. Yoda doesn't have Archon for 45 more seconds, so that is one problem. But he's going to do what he can. The siege will be as best as they can. They bring down the shields, and it's at 90%. before they're willing to step away.
Do we get the Cocoon out of here? There's the stun. The Dragon Arrow play of the game trying to come in. They're not able to get the damage just yet, but there's the Cocoon. Cattle is going down. They're trying to get the stun. They get the follow-up stun. Cattle's got the Avatar out. Riptire in return.
Riptire hits, and then there's the Twisting Nether. Lutano is in a dangerous spot as he gets blown up between the two combos of those abilities, and this gives T-Sprung and the rest of Tempo Storm another chance to get back on the core, this time with Junkrat.
This time with Junkrat, Molten Core trying to do damage, but the core down to 75%. Cho'gall eating all that damage. The shove out, the shields are there. Can they hold? 60% and falling.
The Molten Core is doing a number, but it's almost done. They have almost made it through it, but Fan is getting really low in health with the knockup from Zugrug. He goes down. There's no more Junkrat left for this as Nazmus is back out. There's no Hanzo, but everyone else from Team Freedom is here. T-Sprung knocks back a lot of Team Freedom. Freedom's not letting Tempo Storm get out of this. It is all or nothing now.
There's the Silence Collusion trying to get away. Should be able to get poked down. The dash out keeps him alive. Catapults will be on Tempo's core momentarily if Team Freedom can keep them here. So many members low on the side of Tempo Storm, but 53% does remain on the core for Team Freedom.
There's the Meteor to see if he can keep them all dismounted. Cattle's gonna mount up. Burrow Charge goes back in. They've kept Cattle here with the Cocoon. They keep Cho'gall here too.
See if he's got Rewind.
Oh, here comes the Dragon's Arrow. It misses, not in the time to catch him out of the Cocoon. This lets Tempo Storm once again try to retreat. They are almost back to their base.
Catapults are on core. Shields falling. It's not enough to do lethal damage until the next wave comes in. Taken marginal damage on that, but we have a soft reset in this game as it's 21-21. Oh, baby, Cho'gall.
You said 26 minutes, which means we have 5 more minutes of this game to go. But with 53% on the core, that's pretty scary. There's no Abathur to mule this baby up. That is permanent damage. Same for the 95% of Tempo Storm. Tempo are going to clear this out as a control point starting for Team Freedom.
Freedom does have a retreat point here. They have their fort, they have the healing well, but the silence from Cho'gall. They also have the healing pulse. Zugrug is holding on to that. He's been the primary target on the front line. He's retreating momentarily, looking for a spot, but there's the root instantly. Collusion gets the dash right before he gets silenced. Team Freedom holding on. They still are channeling this for the moment, Gilly.
50 seconds until Archon as Dragon's Arrow comes back for Lutano. Tempo Storm forces Team Freedom off the point at 93% before they take over.
They're trying to clear out that top lane. Tempo Storm, before this started, grabbed the camp to neutralize the push of the catapults in the top lane. Team Freedom has now cleared that out. They're getting a camp of their own. They'll try and contest the control point here in a second once they get this picked up. Recognizing that, Tempo Storm going up to clear just a little bit with Junkrat, who's got the clear. But now Cho'gall and team are pushing towards this fort, and look at the siege damage right there.
Yeah, it is all gone as that fort takes another rune bomb to go down. 59%. Tempo Storm has got to be like, come on, come on, come on. Go up faster. Now there's a camp up in the top that Cho'gall has to go deal with. Seeing that, Team Freedom get back onto the control point. They have to bring Cho'gall back.
You can see that cooldown reduction at 13 allows them to get multiple rune bombs out. This, right, I don't think you can give this Triglav Protector up. Molten Core is here. They're going to fight under the umbrella of Ragnaros as Ragnaros puts down the damage. Cattle maintaining on the right side for the moment. June keeping him alive. The focus has been on Cho'gall. Yoda also in Archon form. He'll see if we can keep that up. But the channel now here for Team Freedom. Cattle making his way back.
Cattle went back, uses Avatar even just to get onto the point. He had to. It's down into the overtime now. They've made a dimensional shift happen. Seven-sided strike is going to push Cattle back off the point. He wants to get back in, but T-Sprung wants to get bound on Yoda. The Sulfurious Smash hits him. Cho'gall is stomached to death. The rewind of a Nubarak holding him down so they can kill the Cho'gall.
Oh, the stun is there. They're getting into the Triglav Protector for safety. They've got the shields out from that. Caterpillar is low on the backside. No Avatar, that's already been used. But with Cho'gall already down, they're going to go in. Caterpillar, will he try and go back for the defense? There's no backdoor. This is not Fnatic here. This is Team Freedom with the Triglav Protector. 23 minutes in on Volskaya, looking to end the game.
No Cho'gall for 38 seconds. There is a reduced cooldown for you respawning faster, but it was not taken by Cho'gall. Now they do not have them for 30 more seconds as that protector is going at the core. And how? Tempo Storm's going to do what they can to hold, but this looks like we are very likely going to tie up the series. Tassadar falls, but it is just wrecking this core with every punch of the protector. Team Freedom, we're going to tie up our series 1-1.
On the other side, by the way.
Yeah.
Had Murden gone there, I don't know, maybe he could have gotten a little bit of clear, but either way, Team Freedom claims a victory over T-Sprung. Whew!
And there it was, the Cho'gall. It worked pretty well. It really did. It put them behind. They were willing to play for the late game, as we've seen Tempo Storm be willing to do on Full Sky Foundry before. Losing that top keep, though, that was a really big problem. It proved to be what enabled Team Freedom to get just enough to get the win.
11.5 minutes in, they got that. They showed excellent use of the protector,
yes,
making sure to focus the way that they zoned with the laser, prioritizing the abilities on clearing the minions. They were able to get multiple forts in the early game, and then of course, whenever Cho'gall would show top, they'd hard rotate to another lane, knowing they had the numbers advantage, took control of the game there. Second protector took the keep. Very well played in the early game, and that's what you've got to do against Cho'gall. Team Freedom got that was a game.
That Ragnaros pick was heads up, too.
Yeah.
To have the Ragnaros pick to slow things down with Molten Core, just slow Cho'gall down and what he wanted to do with the Siege. So Team Freedom, get through the Cho'gall, the T-Sprung, and tie up the series, which means we're going to Game 3 after this commercial break. Don't go anywhere. This is the Heroes Global Championship.